Hello, wizards, witches, and everyone in between. My name is Emma, and today we'll be talking about music and the memories associated with it. So I heavily drew inspiration for this video from the books and memories videos that have been going around, where people talk about nostalgic memories and stuff that they have associated with certain books, and I do want to do that eventually. But during this time with the whole pandemic thing, I have been listening to music a lot, and I listen to a lot of like throwbacks in the sense of music that reminds me of an earlier time in my life. And so I just really wanted to talk about like what memories certain albums evoke in me. So that's what we're doing today. That's why I've gathered you here in my non-bookshelf background, because today's not a book video, and I hope that's okay. So I used to have quite a large CD collection until I moved in with my now husband, and it's just not, it doesn't make sense. And I feel like the longer that years go by, it's like, now I can pay $5.99 and have Spotify that has like everything on it. Why would I buy a CD if I can listen to it on Spotify? So I haven't bought a new CD in a very long time. I do like records, but I would argue those are very different experience than CDs. I don't know if this makes any sense. I also don't know why I'm talking about records. But anyway, point is, I used to have probably, I don't know, 100 CDs, and this is it now. It's one container, but these are basically my nostalgic CDs. So I just thought I would go through some of the highlights of these with you. So right off the bat, we are starting out with an ultimate throwback, and that is Sailor Moon and the Sailor Scouts, Luna Rock. So I had this CD and another Sailor Moon CD in like book, I guess. It was very like thin width-wise, but it had two CDs, and then it came with like a lyrics pamphlet. And they had those a lot for Disney CDs, so if my 90s kids are with me right now, I feel like you might know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I had one of those for Sailor Moon. I think we got it at Costco back in the day. And I was obsessed with Sailor Moon as a kid, as a pretty little kid. And I remember distinctly, my parents' van got broken into, and their CD, like, we had our CDs in like a CD holder thing, so the cases weren't in the car, and that got stolen. And I was so sad, and I was never able to find like one of the CDs, but this was one of them that had gotten stolen, and I got it obviously on its own. And one of the songs in this is called The Power of Love, and I'm assuming this was in the Sailor Moon movies or the show, not sure, but it's like, you've got to believe in the power of love. So this just reminds me of my van getting broken into. Alright, the next CD I'm going to talk about is Hannah Montana, and this is the CD that is also the Meet Miley Cyrus CD. So there's two CDs in here, twice the jams. I listen to the soundtrack when I like need to feel better, so I've been listening to it a lot. It has some bops. See You Again, East Northumberland High, GNO, Start All Over, gold. Not to mention the Hannah Montana side has Nobody's Perfect, Life's What You Make It. It's great. I remember the town that I grew up in is kind of like I guess it's a town that's part of like the city I live in right now. So it was, you know, a weird like subsection. So it still doesn't have its own movie theater. It didn't have its own Target at the time. And when you're a kid, you know, like a 20-minute drive feels like forever. So I remember when this CD came out, I begged my dad to drive me to Target so that I could get it the day it came out. And I bought this with my own money, and I just remember being so excited. I remember that summer, my friend Audrey and I were taking a drawing class at the local community college. They do like a summer college for kids program, and we would listen to this thing like on the drive there every single time we had class. And I specifically remember listening to True Friend so many times, like on repeat. Alright, so this next one is very special and nostalgic to me. This next one was the first like real CD that wasn't a movie soundtrack that my mom had, and she gave to me when I was like 7, maybe 7 or 8, and that is Let It Go by Avril Lavigne. This was my jam, and to this day I still know every single word to every single song on this album. I thought I was so grown up, and I put away my Kids Bop, I put away my Shrek soundtrack, and I had Let Go by Avril Lavigne, and it was poppin'. So this has I'm With You, this has Skater Boy, it has Complicated, all of the classics. Not to mention Nobody's Fool, which no one ever talks about, but is a bop. So this just means a lot to me. It was my first like real CD from like a real artist, and I don't think I'll ever forget the words to any of these songs. Also, I remember I'm With You has the word damn in it, and I was like, does my mom know that this word is in this song and that I'm listening to it? I remember I made such a big deal out of that. Like, I'm listening to music that has curse words in it. Another one is Jonas Brothers, specifically a Little Bit Longer album. And this came out in 2008. So I was 13, and the summer that this came out, I was helping my friend's aunt get her elementary school classroom like ready for the new school year. And I remember she was paying us, I think, my friend Addie. I got this from Target that morning, and then I brought it to the classroom where her aunt was like, you guys should bring music, like I'll have a CD player for you guys. And I brought this, and Addie and I were so into the Jonas Brothers, and she was like freaking out that I got it before I came there, and we were listening to it, and I just distinctly remember like organizing books and setting up her aunt's classroom while listening to this. And I remember how much of a jam Burnin' Up was, and I mean, it's just all around a good time. So here's a memory that isn't me as a kid, for once, and that is Melodrama by Lorde. This might be the most recent CD that I have, and my husband got this for me. This came out in 2017. So at that time I was 22, but I was just going through this weird period of like not really knowing what I wanted to do with my life, and this was like before I decided to go get my master's. So I was just in this weird limbo, and I dyed my hair red. I had a kind of identity crisis. That was the year that I got engaged, so that was cool, but the rest of the year I was just kind of like, who am I? What is life? Like freaking out about everything. You know what I mean? Classic crisis, you know? And so I remember the CD came out, and I love Lorde, and my husband surprised me with this. I was so excited. I had this in my car for the longest time, and I ended up dragging him to our concert, I think in 2017 also. That was the year I dyed my hair red because, like I said, identity crisis. And I specifically remember Green Light was my ringtone for the longest time. Perfect Places was also my jam, but I would listen to Liability on repeat and just cry every time. If you guys have heard Liability by Lorde, one of my favorite songs ever, but it gets me every time, and it was just really what I was feeling at that time. And I think if you struggle with mental health issues or any sort of like health problem, it can be difficult because you feel like you're letting people down by having to change plans or whatever. And I feel that a lot with my anxiety, and you know, it really put into words like sometimes you really do feel like a liability. And whether that's coming from you or that's coming from other people, I don't think the people in my life set out to make me feel like that. But at that time, I was feeling a lot like a liability. And it just, it spoke to me. Alright, so I'm going to do 2 more because I don't want this video to get super long. These are both Taylor Swift albums. So the first one I want to talk about is Fearless. And now this came out in 2008. So 2008 was my freshman year of high school. I was 13. And being 13 in 9th grade sucks. But, you know, that's just such an awkward age anyway. And I just remember, you know, I was really struggling with my anxiety and my depression at that age. It was hard. Life was hard. And this CD came out, and I I listen to it every single day. And it's so crazy because this CD is actually, I was listening to Taylor Swift the other day, and that's what made me want to do this video, was I heard Fearless and I automatically was transported back to 9th grade. And just, I remember feeling, you know, how I was feeling back then, and it was just crazy how songs can transport you back to another time in your life. And for that reason, I really, really want to get Fearless tattooed on me somewhere, because this album just had such an important impact on me. Fearless obviously is one of my favorite songs from this album. I remember the song Hey Steven. This one girl asked this guy named Steven out in my freshman English class. She asked him like out to a dance or something by singing the song Hey Steven. It was, I mean, props to her. Like now if that happened, I'd be like, hell yeah girl, get it. But back in the day I was just like, that's awkward. I was also very obsessed with the song The Way I Loved You. I don't know why, but I used to just scream those lyrics in my room with my boombox on repeat. Like, those lyrics are just so good. I didn't even have my first kiss until I was 20, so I don't know, you know, I thought I could relate to it at that time. Obviously not, but oh my god, it was so good. Also, the song Change, I just always really related that to my anxiety. And I was like, these things will change, high school will get better. And you know what? It did. Because by my junior, senior year of high school, I loved high school. Alright, the last one I'm going to talk about today is Red. This album, I don't even love all the songs on this. Compared to her other albums, this probably has the most amount of songs that I don't, like, love. So this came out in 2012, my senior year of high school. And I remember listening to it in the summer of 2012, and I had this crush on this guy who, well, I don't know if I should say it. Yeah, okay, I'll say it. I had this crush on one of my friend's brothers. I had a crush on him for most of high school. I remember I was just talking to her about it, you know, and she was kind of telling me I should just, you know, go for it, but then I was like, I really don't think he feels the same way. But then I ended up going for it because I just felt like I needed closure and I needed to know that he didn't feel that way about me. And so that was what was going on all of summer and fall of 2012. And spoiler alert, he didn't feel that way. But it's fine now because I'm married to someone else. I mean, 2012 is also obviously my freshman year of college, which was also really, really scary. And I don't know, this album just like was with me at such a pivotal time in my life. My last year of high school, my first year of college, that was such a crazy year for me because, like I said, I loved high school, loved it. And so, you know, it was really, really hard to start college and not know anybody and feel so alone and just so, you know, weird. And then the whole weird thing with like my friend's brother. So anyway, I had a 6 CD changer in my car, the first car I had, which I love with all my heart. It was a 1996 Chrysler Sebring convertible, just like Michael Scott has in The Office. It was my dad's mom's car that she gave to me when she was too old to drive, and it was my first car, and it had a 6 CD changer, which was honestly amazing. So I would just load it up, right? I listened to this on my commute to school. It was about a 30-minute drive to my college, and I would listen to this every single day, blast it, sing it, karaoke session in the car every day, and it was very therapeutic. It was a way for me to vent my anxiety and my nervousness about college, and also just, I don't know, like I felt for once in my life I could kind of relate to her singing about having feelings for someone and wanting a relationship with someone or it not working out, things like that. In high school, I was way too focused on theater and getting good grades to really like think about dating and things like that. So this was kind of that kind of period too in my life where I was like, maybe it would be nice to date somebody. So this CD was there for me too. So obviously the person I had a crush on, you know, in the songs where she's talking about having a crush, I'd sing it and pretend that I was Taylor and that I was singing to this guy, confessing my feelings because I couldn't do it in real life and blah, blah, blah. Like State of Grace. and everything has changed and all of that. And then when it wasn't like a bad breakup, because we were never together, but I wasn't super sad when I found out that he didn't have feelings for me like that. It was more I was happy I had closure about it. But then I was like, I would get all dramatic with it and be like, okay, now I can sing, you know, All Too Well. I can sing Sad, Beautiful, Tragic, and The Moment I Knew, and, you know, like the breakup songs, the sad songs. I hope I explained that well enough. I'm not sure, but it was just there for me in such a pivotal, like, weird year of my life. And so this CD means a lot to me, even though, like I said, I don't really love all the songs on it, but man, some of them, like All Too Well, I will cry whenever I sing that. Beautiful song. Alright, so those are the 7 CDs I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Let me know what albums you guys have associated with memories like that. Music is just amazing that way. And let me know if you want to see more of these. I could totally do like a part 2 with CDs, or I obviously do eventually. I do want to do a book one, but I've just been in such a music mood. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!